This is Hunt Nebraska, the official podcast for insight into Nebraska's hunting and shooting sports community. Be sure to give us a follow on Facebook, our space for sharing stories, information, tips, and techniques. Now, Hunt Nebraska.
Welcome into the Hunt Nebraska cabin here today. We are enjoying our nice summer hot weather as always, and so we're happy to take a break and come inside to a cabin and cool off for a little bit. We do have a full cabin as you can see, so I'll figure we do a quick round of introductions so everybody knows whose voice they're hearing if you're not on our YouTube channel and so you can't see, or you can see us wave at you if you go to YouTube. So I'm Kyle Gasson. I'm the Hunter Education Coordinator here with the Nebraska Game and Parks. We have Rachel. Well, go ahead. You want to jump in?
Yes, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Rachel Carlson, your shooting sports and shooting range coordinator.
Oh, am I next? They're looking at me. I'm Megan Price, our hunting and shooting sports outreach coordinator. I'll wave. Supposed to wave, I guess.
Oh, yeah, it'd be nice. I'm Shelby Eisensee, the hunting and shooting R3 coordinator with the National Wild Turkey Federation in partnership with Nebraska Game and Parks.
I feel bad for you, Shelby. That's a long job title to announce all the time.
It's gotten pretty easy.
Yes. Repetition.
There you go.
Well, if you notice, the three other individuals in here all have one word that's the same across all of them, and that's shooting. Mm-hmm. And so we decided today that we'll be talking a little bit about our shooting sport, shooting outreach, where to go about shooting, because as many of you know, our hunting seasons are quickly approaching. Many of you probably already received all your draw information, saw which some of you were excited to see that you drew some permits, and then others are the residents have already been open to buy their over-the-counter permits, and non-residents open up here on July 23rd, which this might actually be out after that. So hopefully non-residents are in there getting their permit spots here for our deer, antelope seasons, and then elk for the residents. And also in preparation for shooting too. There's another big season coming up that will be here before we know it, and that'd be the August 1st deadline. And Megan, what's coming up?
I have no idea, but hold on, because I have a separate thing. Am I supposed to know what's coming up August 1st? Oh, for hunting seasons?
Yes.
Oh, squirrel is one of them. And I have a squirrel for you. So we always come in here, we talk about all these dates. Mm-hmm. We have this coming up, we have that coming up. And for me, it's super hard to keep track of a million different dates. Mm-hmm. So do you guys have a way that you remind yourself when these different things are coming up? Do you have a system in place?
I personally use a couple resources. One, our Hunt Nebraska Facebook page posts those all the time. Okay. So that's a great way. So if you're following them, that's awesome way. Also, I subscribe to our Game and Parks email bulletins, so those regularly sent out. Or if you prefer to go traditional methods, we have big game guides that are sent out or that are up for available for pickup, or you can look them up online too. And so there you'll be able to see list all the dates, and then you can write them in your own calendar or track the own method, because I know everybody seems to have a little bit different way on. Yeah. Do we put it on a calendar? Do we put it in a smart calendar? Do we
see? And I set online? A reminder because I can't. I don't check my calendar regularly enough. Mm-hmm. So I have a recurring every year reminder when stuff happens.
And a lot of people do that for multiple states too, because every state is different.
Yeah, every state's different. And if you have multiple states that you want to hunt in, it's almost it's hard to keep track of when everything's happening. So yeah, I think reminders are nice.
Yes, very good. Because it seems random like they're always changing. But no, it's valid, because I just listed off a bunch of dates and people are like, huh, what?
Yeah, so put it in your phone, set yourself a reminder, because I find it hard to keep track of everything if I don't. And then you hop on and you're like, well, half the permits or maybe the specific unit I wanted is gone now. So yeah, that's my advice. Set reminders.
And mine's to follow Hunt Nebraska Facebook page, because every week or every other week they're listing out important dates for that week. So it's just good to keep up to date what's going on if you're big in the hunting shooting world.
Yeah,
which you probably are if you're listening to our podcast.
I would guess so, yeah. Mm-hmm. Or you're maybe Aaron's mom or my mom or somebody that watches so they can hear us talk.
I do like that calendar way, though, because Well, we get most of the important dates out on that Hunt Nebraska page. Sometimes we don't catch all of them. And so if you have one that's really near and dear to your heart, we want to make sure that you don't miss it. So
Yes.
check that calendar, put it in your phone.
Now that I sidetracked us with hunting.
That's all right.
Then we can go
We
back
gotta enjoy
to
it.
squirrel.
Yeah,
go back to
squirrel.
squirrel.
But I guess I'm for sure squirrel, but I don't know if there's anything else.
Squirrel's the big opener.
Okay.
There is some, I think antlerless elk season's opening up during that time as well. So
I'm guessing those people are going to remember.
typically they are pretty excited for that season to start up.
I would be. Yeah.
So, but yes, so squirrel season's coming up. If you haven't seen it already, you can check out a reel there on Facebook. That will be, I believe it's a reel that is being posted on Facebook of some squirrel tips.
Yeah, it needs to be created and then it will be posted. So
I
yes.
have faith in you. We'll get that
Yeah.
out here before this
All of
podcast is released.
all the fun tips and tricks that I could locate. Yes.
And maybe a squirrel call.
There might be a squirrel call. We'll see.
Awesome. All right. So, well, we're going to move into, I have a quick question here for everybody. As you're growing up, did any of you attend any sort of a shooting event as a youth? As in, did you compete in any shooting events as a youth growing up? I see a head shaking yes, so I will pick on Shelby here. I know you were a resident shotgunner, so what was your events or events that you were a part of growing up?
Usually growing up, I didn't get too big into the competition shooting world until I got into high school, and I joined the local trap team. And so that was through the USA Clay Target League.
So trap team shooting. So shooting with a shotgun there at the
During
clay targets.
High school, once I went to college, I kind of dropped out of that, became a coach, which was also through the USA Clay Target League. And then I ended up getting into competition shooting myself just because I missed it through the NSSA, and NSCA is another one that I just joined this year. And
You want to
what those
say what
mean?
those
Yeah.
acronyms
I
are?
love our acronyms
You'll
here.
hear lots of acronyms in shooting. For the NSSA, that is the National Skeet Shooting Association. Last year, I went to the South Dakota State Championship. It was my first big competition back since high school, and I ended up taking first place in 12 gauge, second place in skeet doubles.
Oh, no, this one. Oh, hold on. There we go.
And then I was also lady champion of that tournament. So, but now this year I'm getting into the NSCA, so they're kind of besties, the National Sporting Clays Association.
Nice.
Do you want to touch base? A very short explanation, difference between trap, skeet, sporting clays. You can keep it
yeah.
in about a minute or two.
I can do my best. Trap is going to be the most shot discipline in shotgun shooting. So that's where you have just your 5 stations basically straight across in a 180 line, and then you have your trap house in front of you where it throws into a very specific degree angled out in front of you. Like all the clays are going to go out in front of you. Skeet, on the other hand, is going to have 8 stations, and there's 2 houses instead of 1. So you have a high house and a low house. And the 7 stations are in a half moon with station 8 in between 1 and 7, which are in between high and low house.
And the house, you means what's throwing out the blue rock for you to shoot.
Yep. And then sporting clays is, if you're a big golfer, it's basically the golf of shotgun shooting. So you go to there's different courses you can go to. Certain facilities will have these, and then at each one, usually you're shooting 2 times, and that's either a report pair or a true pair. Report pair means that the first clay throws, the second that you shoot, the next clay will throw, and then true pair means those 2 clays throw at the same time. You never know where the clays are coming from because every station is different.
Got you.
So,
Even if you go to the course some other time during the year, they may have changed it up.
Yeah, usually a lot of facilities try to change up their sporting clays course every, I think it's 6 weeks is what they try to do.
Wow.
So a lot of people come back and be like, oh, I know this course, and then it's completely different. And the nice thing about sporting clays is it is most realistic to hunting, but there's different types of clays. So you have minis, which are half the size of a normal clay or blue rock, as Nebraska likes to call it.
That big?
Yeah, they're pretty small. They have what I call, or I've always called growing up, pancakes. So it's literally the size of a pancake. Like it's super thin. It doesn't have the up-ridged on like a normal clay. So that it's all about aerodynamics and when it's flying, and you have like a split second to shoot it when it shows itself. And then you could have different colored clays. So there's black, yellow, orange, white. I've seen yellow was like really back in the day, but not sure if those are still around. If you have the chance, one thing I've always wanted to do, still on my bucket list, is there is a glow-in-the-dark sporting clays.
Ooh.
Nice. So that is very limited facilities throughout the United States. But if you're able to go, it's completely at night, and you think of like cosmic bowling or cosmic archery or anything like that, it's that for shotgunning.
Cool.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I do know of one place nearby that actually does that. So that would be Lincoln Trap and Skeet.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. So we're literally like yards away from that one.
Yeah.
So I helped you out. We found one in the United States.
There we go.
Well, the ones I know are Missouri and Texas.
Okay.
Nice.
Cool.
Well, Megan, did you do any shooting events, competitions growing up?
Nope, I didn't. I was more of a late onset for hunting and for shooting sports, so I didn't really, nothing that was like an organized shooting sport. I mean, I did some BB gun and rifle, but it was nothing that was organized as a sport.
Very good. Rachel?
Many. Many.
All of them.
Not all of them. I started in 4-H shooting sports when I was 10. And so I did BB gun, air rifle, 22 rifle competitions from then all the way up to high school. And then kind of dabbled when I was in college because there's other things going on in college. So got to focus on studies. And then, I mean, there's amateur competitions that are available across the state. So I've done stuff like Cornhusker State Games. And if there's a open competition that let me come shoot it and I'm there, I'll go shoot that one too.
There you go. And I grew up, my family was solely focused on hunting. And so the only time I did anything was, I did some trap shooting, but that was the, week or two before pheasant opener or grouse opener. And it's like, all right, we're just going to go shoot to get ready to go hunting, or we'll go sight in our rifle. And that was our shooting going on down over there. So I never got into the competition. And from my community, there wasn't much going on until a little bit later. And I know a lot of, especially Nebraska communities, it's been growing and growing more and more every year. And part of it because of this great team that we have sitting in here who help promote a lot of these events that we're going to talk about here in just a minute, because you're just talking about Cornhusker State Games and talking about, we'll talk about NAS, National Archery in the Schools program. We'll talk about just 4-H for extent, because some of us were just out there at the National 4-H competition here this last month. So there's a lot going on. We just want to bring up get an idea what's all going on, talk about some of them, and how to get involved. Whether, like I said, some of these are for ages. Yeah, we're talking primarily youth, but a lot of these events we'll also be having events for adults as well. As you hear, we have a couple competitive shooters in our midst right now.
I think an important thing to note when you said 4-H, like I think everyone's first thought is, oh, I'm showing or I'm judging. It's not like shooting sports.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big thing to promote too. And this was the first year that I got to go to the National 4-H Championship, and it was intense. Like there's people from kids all over the state. Like it isn't something that I got to experience growing up.
It is kind of a well-kept secret, not intentionally, that 4-H has a shooting sports program. And don't quote me on this, but I believe that program started in the 80s. And so that's available across most land-grant universities in the U.S. Not every single one has a 4-H shooting sports program. So if your state has one, then there's subsequent like county programs that, depending on instructor availability, might be out there for you.
I know some other popular ones. FFA started having shooting teams. So I grew up in FFA. They just started that a couple years ago.
And then stuff comes, there's variation and ups and downs on things. When I was growing up, JC's also had a shooting program. They don't do that anymore. So
usually I think FFA, it's very new, but you like have a shooting team in your chapter, and then that chapter, like that team goes around to different competitions and shoots in the name of the chapter. Otherwise, ATA is a really big one, shotgun-wise. I see a lot of
American Trap Shooting Association or
Amateur Trap Shooting Association. Very popular to get in. And most of these like bigger ones, you start getting shooting registered targets, and then you can get into different classes, and that's how you get into different types. Like I'm Class C in skeet, and then Class B in skeet doubles.
And that's very similar to how it works for NRA. So NRA also has A lot of, they have junior sectionals, but they also have sectionals for, just adults. And then they will also class you based on your scores that you put in those competitions or other scores that you submit. So you'll be like class A, class B, etc.
Yes.
There's CMP competitions, so civilian marksmanship program as well. And then I don't think there's competition for this, but there's definitely a shooting sports program through Boy Scouts as well.
Yes.
Where you can earn your badges in rifle and archery. At the very least that I know of, I think there may also be a shotgun one.
Cool.
Lots and lots of opportunities all around, it sounds like. Well, let's just talk a little bit about some of the different programs that we may oversee or not oversee. I'll follow along the list, as I do have a list here in front of me, and I feel like if I went off that list, Rachel over here might start tweaking or stabbing me with the pen, one of the two. But no, I want to talk a little bit about the facility that we are housed out of, the Turpin Outdoor Education Center, and they do a good job promoting a couple or having regular classes on a couple of these opportunities, and that'll be JOAD. So, wants someone to explain what JOAD is? And
Another fun acronym.
I know.
Well, I was gonna say,
said we're just throwing all these acronyms, or is there a better, or should we go to their umbrella a little bit?
Well, I was going to say,
Yeah, we
let's
need to
back up
back
a
up.
step. So the facility, the Turpin Center, has USA archery programs. And so USA archery programs include the introductory ones like tri-archery, which the facility has on a regular basis. And then it's available at other locations that might have a USA archery program, as well as explore archery, which tends to be a longer class, multiple weeks. And then, so JOAD is a part of that. So that stands for Junior Olympic Archery Development. And so that is kind of that higher step, target archery past explore archery.
Yeah, and it's offered at multiple places. So like when Rachel's talking about USA Archery is taught in a variety of clubs and then also like facilities around not only Nebraska but across the U.S. So
Because they are the governing body for the Olympic archery team.
yes, yep. And then you can get, like, if you're interested in coaching them, people get certified through USA Archery, that governing body, to train at certain levels to teach those classes. So yeah, the facility has those, but it's not just limited to the facility. You can usually find them a lot of different places.
And those programs will take you basically from beginner to wherever you want to go. Any of the skills that you learn in those basic level classes are great to apply for hunting as well. But if you want to get into target shooting and competition, they'll take you that route if you would like.
Any idea where to find? So, hey, great for the people here in the Lincoln area to, all right, we can go to the Turpin Center. Any idea how to find out a different club or organization for that?
So if you go to usarchery.org, there's a find a club tool.
Awesome.
So you can find either a club in your area or you can find certified instructors in your area.
Yep.
Very good. And it's a great opportunity because, like I said, it's all levels and get to experience it. I know every once I'll take a peek at the classes going on there, and there's some great shooters at all different ages and levels there, all shooting together. It's a pretty cool program when I able to go and watch and then remember that how some of these younger kids are a much better shot than I am currently, and that I just needed more practice.
Oh, and then one thing before we move off of that, I should mention, it's not just for kids.
Yes.
Adults can come in. So the tri-archery classes, the explore archery classes are great fits for families. So you can come in as a group and take that as a unit. If you're coming in as just an adult, you could take those classes and go through. And then those advanced classes are also open to adults who want to improve their skills.
Yes, because the Junior Olympic Archery Development is more geared, it's set up for the kids, but there's also an adult component, I think, of that program. Yeah. And so those classes, they're open from 8 and older, I think. Yep. So, yeah.
Awesome. And then, as I mentioned, or someone's got to experience either first time, or for me it was second time, or Rachel for continuation because she's there all the time.
Since 2011.
Yes, the National Fort Shooting Sports is it competition? Do they call it competition? Championship. There it is. Was held in Grand Island. It's their site. They host it recently for the most years. Has it always been there? Or I'm testing your knowledge here.
No, so Nebraska has the current bid for the location. Prior to 2012, it had rotated between multiple states every 2 years because there was a 2-year bid.
Nice. So
it's been in Missouri and Texas. And
yes, presently in Nebraska, so we're lucky to host it. So a lot of us are able to go down and help with it. And there is so much you can do with 4-H shooting sports. There's I started to write down all the different, I don't know, focuses that you could select or choose on. And it's like, oh, you could do this and this and this. And like, oh, that sounds like fun. And it's just like, I wonder how, if you try to do them all, if you would have the time to do them all in a day. But it's quite extensive. And I know some of us have done different areas where they've helped. But so I'm going to run through a list of them. And then just a little bit, I want to dig in more on a couple of them that I'll point out. So they have, in 4-H, they have archery, air rifle, air pistol, BB gun, small bore rifle and pistol, hunting skills challenge, shotgun, and muzzleloading. And that's just what I saw on their sites when I was doing a little research to see it all. And the ones I want to emphasize a little bit on, because I know one of the residents that actually was on the crew and helped lead the national committee on it, was on the air rifle or air pistol area.
Yeah, so I was on the air pistol range this last year and many years before that, so that's a great one. I mean, you do 3 days of competition for any of these, and you know, I picked that air pistol one because it's inside. We're not outside cooking in the Grand Island sun at the end of June, like a lot of those shotgunners or muzzleloaders are. It's great. We got kids from, I want to say, somewhere around 20 states, a bunch of teams, and we had almost our highest number of competitors this year. I think we had 74. Last year we had 75. And we're at one of the smaller disciplines at nationals. There's bigger ones. Archery and shotgun are some of the biggest ones that we have. And I want to say we had 740-something competitors overall from 40 states this year.
That's great to see all that. But again, that's the national scale. So trying to get it brought down in for those listening, what's finding the easiest way to actually reach out and figure out how do I even get started in 4-H shooting sports? And I don't know if someone else wants to handle this one, or I can try to answer this one. So we're not making Rachel do most of the talking on it, unless she is.
Rachel's our resident 4-H coach, so that's why I will always default to her for 4-H, because you've seen it from 10 years old now through as old as you are now, coaching for years and years. So just, I think for you, I always think when we've talked about 4-H, it had such an impact on you that you chose to continue and to set up a shooting sports program like in Lincoln, where it's a more metro area and you don't see as much shooting sports. Like, I think it's pretty cool that it had such an impact on you that you've really, I mean, you volunteer every week for this. I mean, I don't know of anyone else in my adult life that spends that much time committed to volunteering. So it must have been, it sounds like it is probably a really cool program if you've, devoted a lot of your life to it.
Yeah, I would credit being encouraged to go in and become an assistant instructor when I was 16. That really ignited my passion for continuing with this. Like, I was fine as a shot. I wasn't great at it. I had a good time. I really wanted to win, but I never really was ever the top person in the competition. But once I was able to start teaching, that was what I found I really, really enjoyed, and just kind of stuck with it from there. So, and then you just meet great people in the program too.
Yeah.
So if you're looking to get into the program, there's probably 2 ways you can go about it. One is to call your local extension office and see if they know anything about it. They may or may not, depending on your county. Or an extension office may cover a couple of counties.
So do you just Google 4-H extension office, or what does that look like?
Hall County Extension Office.
Okay.
4-H Extension Office. You'll find their phone number.
Their contact. Okay.
Yep. Sarpy County, Lancaster County, some county out west I can't think of at the moment as an example. Scottsbluff County. I know that they have a program out there. If you don't have any luck with that, then I would go to the Nebraska 4-H Shooting Sports webpage. And that's an easier Google than it is trying to type out that URL. I just Google it. And on there is a list of certified instructors that you can pull up by county along with a phone number. And that's in front, it's just a direct reach out. So you're going to pull up their county and you're going to give them a jingle and see if they have a program going on.
If those folks are anything as passionate as Rachel is, they're going to be super excited to talk to you. I can tell you that.
So very good. And I know, like I said, there's so many different disciplines, and even if you're even if like I said, even if your extension office says no, please do that extra step, because the extension office covers a ton of areas, especially when the 4-H. There's a ton of, like I said, they were talking about just shooting sports and we'll stuff a bunch of things, and there's solar culture, and there's livestock showing, and there's companion animals, and there's flowers. There's just so many baked goods. There's so many projects
There's
somebody can do.
robotics. I mean, there's all sorts of crazy stuff.
So there's so much stuff that extension agent tries to keep track of, and so even they might not know that if they don't have the answer, they'll go digging a little bit deeper. It'll be worth it. As you can see, it can shape and almost practically make it a career for you down the road.
And just so that people don't get their expectations up too high, not every county or every area has every single discipline. That is very much volunteer based on what your volunteer instructors are certified in. So you might have someone that has rifle in your county, which would cover BB gun, air rifle, and .22 rifle, but they may not have anybody that's certified in archery. So you may have to look in an adjacent county or extension office for that program, and it may or may not be within driving distance. If that's the case, then you should go find somebody in your county that knows these sports and get them certified, because then you can have a program.
There you go.
There you go. Or if you are, let's say perspective, if you are an adult here and you want to get involved in anything along the lines of shooting events, shooting outreach, there's a great opportunity. 4-H is always looking for volunteers, as well as all these programs will always take any help they can get, where they can have somebody to help work with whether it's youth or adults to develop their skills, and they'll provide lots of training and opportunity for you to do it. So it's both sides are always looking. More coaches we have allows us to take more students, and the more students equals hopefully more coaches down the road. So it just keeps growing and growing.
Yeah.
To give Rachel a little bit of a breather, let's talk a little bit about NASP.
Oh, that's me.
We'll pick on the NASP coordinator over here and explain a little bit what it is and how to get involved both as a youth or a coach.
Okay. So NASP stands for National Archery in the Schools program, and it is a program that is in-school curriculum. So generally, a school would reach out, but they're going to get pressure from the students. So schools will either find the program and become interested. They contact us, and we can help with some of the financial share as far as like purchasing the equipment to get started. And then the school is just responsible for putting on archery instruction during the school day. So usually it's a part of their gym class. So they'll put on maybe like what do I want to say, like 10 weeks or maybe 5 weeks of archery. And so then when they go to PE that day, they're going to do their hour of archery. And there's specific curriculum that has to get taught, and the teachers are very familiar by this point, I'm sure, with looking at curriculum, and they kind of can outline that with their specific school and what they want to teach. But they get involved in NASP. We certify them as a basic archery instructor, so they have to have their what we call a BAI, more acronyms. So they become a BAI, a basic archery instructor, and then they teach that curriculum for a minimum of 10 hours throughout the school year. And it can be whenever time they like. And then we consider them an active NASP school. And so the in-school portion, and then there's also kind of a separate out-of-school or club portion. So there are schools that have gotten so excited about archery in their school that they also have like an after-school club where they have archery practice. And these kids are preparing for local tournaments that we also have. So there's like, I think of Pound Middle School off the top of my head. Milford has a really cool program. Mater Dei up in Omaha, they have a cool program. But really the eastern half of the state has caught fire when it comes to putting on these tournaments, and they have lots of programs after school. But I'm pushing west with the program. So we have tournaments almost every single weekend with our local schools, and they've really turned it into kind of a fundraising for that sport, which is really cool to see. And then they, can purchase like jerseys or equipment for the school. So it kind of feeds itself, which is really cool. But then we also have a state tournament at the end of the year, a culminating tournament. And we had, I want to say, just over 700 kids at the state tournament this year, which was awesome. And archery in general, overall, when we look at our national numbers, has just, exploded since NASP's been on the scene. And I want to say NASP started in 2002, 2004. Jeff Rollinson, if you're watching this, correct me in the comments. So somewhere in there. So it's been going on for 20 years now. And it has been really cool to see the huge growth that we've seen in archery. And the part of it the really cool part of it is that it's in school. So we're connecting with those kids in the school day, which is not something that like, trap can say, or that some of the more like rifle shooting sports can say. So it's a really cool program. It's growing. We see more schools getting involved every year, but that comes down to parents reaching out to maybe their principal or students who see the program and are excited about it, and they push it in their school. So yeah, if people are interested, they need to go to their school first, and kind of push them to reach out. After I get the school that's interested and wants to do it, yeah, we set them up with equipment, and it varies how much we can help provide, but generally around $600 is all that the school would have to pay to get. It's over $3,000 worth of equipment that we set them up with. So like 12 bows or so, and arrows and targets and all sorts of stuff. And nice. Yeah, we get that program going.
Very good. And those tournaments, are they running year round, or is there a certain season that they're typically in?
Yeah, so there's generally a season. Usually the first tournaments start in January, and then our state tournament is in March. So this year it'll be March 20th and 21st.
That's what you told me.
Okay, perfect. Yes, March 20th and 21st. So it'll be a Friday, Saturday, and they'll start shooting in the evening on Friday after the setup's all done, and then we go all day on Saturday. So, yeah.
Nice. And
Sorry, I forget. I always forget. So after state, they can also compete nationally. So there is a couple tournaments that happen after the state tournament to prep those kids who want to go or qualified to go to nationals. So they hold a large national tournament in Provo, Utah, and then also, oh my gosh, I'm going to blank, Louisville, Kentucky. Maybe?
That sounds right.
Does that sound right?
Yep.
I went to Provo, Utah this year, so I can remember that one more easily. This is like my first year in the job, so got to remember everything. But yeah, Kentucky. And that is, the one in Kentucky is actually like the largest archery tournament in the world. They've had Guinness World Records come and document it, so that's pretty cool too.
But going into it, even though the season might only be in the springtime, kind of you're talking about there,
Yep.
They're shooting. Some schools are shooting pretty much year round throughout the school year. And so I'm sure some kids are still even shooting throughout the summer as well.
Yeah, and the cool thing that we've seen is they might start with NASP, and then they might tie into a JOAD class, a Junior Olympic Archery class, maybe at a local club. So yes, they're getting involved with their school initially, or state games. Maybe they'll go compete in the summer at state games. So yeah, and there's even been some leagues and stuff set up at various clubs and archery ranges for those national archery schools kids. So yeah, I mean, yes, there's kind of a focus season, but yeah, we've kind of seen it all year round. They're catching the bug in Nebraska for sure.
Awesome. And that's when you brought up one that is a cool event that goes on here in Nebraska. That's the Cornhusker State Games, which for any of those who are newer to Nebraska, which I don't know if Shelby, have you even heard of the Cornhusker State Games yet?
No.
It is essentially a statewide games, kind of the simpler version, probably a dumbed down version, to put it in my words.
Yikes.
Would be the Olympics for Nebraska. It's a whole bunch of different activities. They have swimming, track, basketball, and other sports. Then they also have shooting sports as well. That's why we're bringing it on up. And then a bunch of other things going on all throughout here. Essentially, I believe it's mostly the month of July. It's a few weeks long.
It's literally a week long with both weekends on one side. We're in the middle of it right now when we're recording, so there's one more weekend of shooting sports coming up. So by the time this comes out, you'll have to look at next year, friends. Mm-hmm. But that is actually part of the wider State Games of America network. And so each state has something like this, and they get to set what their own sports are. If you compete in a sport and you medal in it, you can actually go compete at the State Games of America in that same event.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yes. So the only other one that I know the name of, and I recently heard this, and I tried not to giggle too hard, is the Show Me Games.
Where is
from Missouri?
Oh, wow.
That must be a Missouri thing there with the Show Me State.
Yeah, so we're the Cornhusker State Games. So if you medal, for example, in like 22 silhouette, then you can go compete at the State Games of America, and different states host it each year. And do not ask me what state's hosting it for this year at all. And then you can go and do that nationally.
Cool.
And the Cornhusker State Games has no age restrictions on people attending. Now, there might be a might be a minimum for shooting sports, but I know there's a lot of other things that I've seen 3-year-olds compete at things at the Cornhusker State Games. So there's a wide variety. So no matter what stage of life you're in, you'll be able to get involved. And when it comes to shooting sports, I know Rachel's about ready to tell us a rough idea of what an age is here.
It's going to be roughly around 8 that they have for your minimum for any of the shooting sports. And there's a bunch of different selections that you can do. So what's nice about Corner State Games is you can usually just pick something that you normally do and you have practice in. It's probably rare that you just go to compete in that thing at state games. So there is a NASP category for kids for state games. There's 22 prone, there's 22 silhouette, there's centerfire rifle, there's a bunch of different shotgun sports, so sporting clays, trap, international bunker trap. Oh yeah. I didn't
FETAS there?
I don't know what that stands for.
I don't know the total acronym. I know it's it's from like the European. I learned about it last year. Yeah. From one of my professional instructors. Wow. And she showed me the field and how it works. And like, there's different hoops you stand in and the birds fly in certain ways. And like, it is very technical and it sounds way too complicated for me to want to deal with.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you're going to compete next year.
No. Oh. I'm on the sporting clays vibe right now. So, but that's over European or international type league.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I'd have to Google that.
I was going to say, I would have to watch some YouTube videos on those competitions to even remotely understand what those are.
I've only seen one FETAS course, and that was in Minnesota, which is where I'm from. That's the only reason I know about it.
What's the FETAS?
That's what I was asking her.
Oh, FITAC? FETAS? Maybe? I don't know. I got to look that up. She told me about it, and I was like, cool. How about we go back to sporting clays?
So if you want to check out any of those, they're hosting most of those events at Heartland Public Shooting Park in Grand Island this year. And it will be for next year as well. And then, again, anything that really strikes your fancy. They have stuff for youth to come in, and then they have categories for adults all the way up. And so that you're broken down into categories that you might be able to medal in versus competing with the kids who are really good. And like if you like to shoot plates or you like to shoot action pistol, there's that too. So if you can't find something that you like on that list, then we would have to come up with something like Shelby has there that's even more complex.
No, I'm good. I don't need FETAS.
Some of the other ones, when we're talking, we're going to kind of focus a little more on youth here for the next couple. And one that's actually coming up here quickly, I know we're starting to plan, and that is that youth small bore silhouette shoot being hosted. And we actually have the shoot director in here for that. Exciting times. Yeah.
Where the clapping?
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
Now that I figured out which button it is.
Another one of those things where I did compete in that when I was in high school, and now I'm coming back full circle.
That's how it is.
Helped out with it for a number of years, and now I'm running that shoot. Or at least on the Nebraska Game and Park side, we have some amazing volunteers out there near Broken Bow that do a lot of the labor and organization on that. And so shout out to the Howmonts, especially on getting that shoot together for so many years. This coming one will be the 49th annual. Ooh. Yeah, we're getting close to the 50th. And it will be on September 27th. And so anybody that has completed hunter education, youth ages 11 to 18. I was going off of my 4-H there for a second. 11 to 18 that haven't graduated high school are welcome to come and shoot. It's a rifle competition from the standing position for 40 targets at 4 different distances. And it's an all-day family affair. It's a lot of fun.
Where's it at?
It's in near Broken Bow, but it is technically at Pressy WMA near Oconto, Nebraska.
And if somebody's interested in signing up, are there, besides you said just in the hunter ed requirement, and then where do they sign up at?
There is a Google form that will be coming out shortly to be able to register for that for this year.
Will it be on Game and Park site?
It will be on the Game and Parks outdoor calendar. It will be on the Hunt Nebraska Facebook page. So if you're looking for that, that is where it will also be available. Or if you've competed in it before, it will be coming directly to your email inbox.
Awesome. When is it, did we say?
September 27th, which is a Saturday.
Put that in your reminders.
Yep.
More dates.
And it's one of those things where you can come out and try it for the first time if you want, but it might be a little bit of an easier experience if you've gone out and tried some of that style of shooting before. So there are a limited number of options to practice that one. If there's one at state games, and then there's some clubs that host invitationals kind of in the fall and prep for this. But it is a challenge, but it's also a lot of fun.
Cool.
Quick question. So, as you guys have probably figured out, I'm a big shotgun person. I do not come from the lovely background of rifle like Rachel does. Let's say someone's interested, but they're not they haven't tried it yet. Is there a way for people to come to these tournaments or events and just watch and see how it all works?
Yes, of course. We are open to the public. It's at a public wildlife management area, so you can come out and check it out.
And I know you can watch NASP because that was also my first experience with NASP at the state tournament this year.
Yes.
Big crowd.
Yep. And then another big event that would match Shelby's interests, but we also have, though,
Go team.
Rachel, again, and being our shooting sports coordinator, being the director of another shoot, which is our Cornhusker trap shoot competition here that we host every year in the springtime. So do you want to talk a little bit about that, or do you need to, or is your voice getting a little hoarse yet here from being our go-to resident expert on all shooting sports?
I teach all day classes. I think I can handle it. So luckily this one is in the spring as opposed to the fall, so that I don't have to deal with 2 shoots at the same time. And so Shelby and Kyle.
Spring, summer, fall, trap shoots, national 4-H, small bore solo.
Yep.
There has to be something in the winter.
I was like, we're missing a season.
Yeah, what do we got going on in the winter?
I don't know. Help out with NASP.
I guess
stuff.
you are helping
There's
with
some
NASP.
of that. So that's early spring. Yeah. There's also that's prime target archery season as well as that January through March, April. So going out and visiting the different clubs and seeing what they're up to and shooting some of those events.
You should probably also do a little work on the range management in the other half of your job too, probably besides just shoot director. But no, sorry for cutting you off.
That's what they tell me. That's what they tell me. Anyhow, that Cornhusker trap shoot is kind of that culminating state competition for the trap season that runs early March until that first week of May. And then there's, of course, you can shoot at other events after that, but that's that high school trap season, which is where that's focused on. So you have junior high kids, high schoolers coming out to shoot. It's a 3-day competition. It's only a 1 day for the juniors. It's a 2-day for the seniors. They're on separate days. The juniors shoot 100 targets trap in 1 day, and then we do all the awards. And so we had about 850 juniors. That's just juniors this year shooting in 1 day out there at Donovan. So we've got 22 trap houses that we're shooting at. It takes a lot of volunteers and help to pull that one off. And then the seniors shoot on Friday and Saturday, and they're shooting 75 targets each day. First day is just the normal standard 16-yard, and then on Saturday they shoot handicaps.
Explain handicaps for the people.
Yeah, so handicaps is based on your score on that first day when you shoot. Then you are moved back distances so that you're shooting with like that same level of competition. So if you start at 16 yards, maybe you shoot really well, you're bumped back to like 23, 24 yards to shoot those same targets from. So it gets a lot tougher, breaks out the scores a little bit.
Yeah.
So if you're practicing and you think 16 yards is too easy, just go back a few.
Well, and that's a good topic of, we talk about these big events, but just like anything you want to get involved with, any athletics, any competition, that's just 1 day. You have months and months usually of practice leading up to that, if not years, depending on when you're shooting and stuff. So it's one of those that even though that's a big event there, you'll probably will feel at some point if you do it every day for a few months, that 16 yards will probably start getting uncomfortable at some point where you're like, all right, let's move it back and add that challenge. But right now we're in the middle of summer. What should our young shooters or adult shooters be focusing on now or figuring out for the upcoming year's worth of shoots?
It depends on if you have a particular hunting season that you're focusing on for this fall, or if you have a particular competition you're trying to work towards doing well on. So, November rifle season's probably a little bit far away for deer, but at some point this fall you're going to need to pick up your rifle, make sure it's sighted in, make sure you're comfortable with that. It's always a good idea. Make sure the scope is still nice and tight on the top of the gun and it hasn't rattled off to the side. I've never seen that before in my life. Don't know where I heard that one. If you're doing deer archery season, you should probably be building up your strength in your shoulder and making sure that you're comfortable with that shot process. And then after you've kind of warmed up, then you're going to make sure that you have your broadheads ready to go and that you're sight-to-sight in for your broadheads before you take it out in the field. So it depends on what your focus is.
I think he's getting at.
Yep.
Where do we do this at?
Oh,
where do we do it? Like,
where do we find places to do all this practicing at?
it's an open question. It's meant to generate conversation.
Well, sure.
Yeah. But yeah, so what are some locations, Megan, since you brought up the
Find
question?
a range. I believe if you get on the Game and Parks website, you can search for shooting ranges, and it'll pull up a lot of the shooting ranges that are either managed by Game and Parks or maybe just managed by Game and Parks right now.
Yep.
So it'll pull up any of the ranges that we're involved with, and you can kind of search for ones that are close to you. It'll sometimes, some of them will be, staffed shooting ranges, and then some of them will be just, walk up and there's no one there that's necessarily running it, but you can just go and shoot. So I don't even know where to start with naming them because there's so many. That would be, again, a Rachel.
I couldn't name all of our unstaffed ranges even, and they're in a list format. So we're working on trying to get those into a little bit easier way to search by your location. So you kind of have to know what WMAs or state rec areas are in your vicinity if you're looking for those. But others, we have staffed ranges. We have one out in Gehring, that's Wildcat Hills. We have a pellet and archery range out at Shadron State Park. We have Kearney Outdoor Education Complex, which has shotgun, archery, rifle, and pistol. And then we have Turpin, which has indoor archery, outdoor archery, an indoor firearm and rifle, shotgun, sort of, muzzleloader. Well, you can pattern a shotgun here.
No, asterisk.
Yeah,
Big
you can't
asterisk.
swing it.
They all have caveats and
Sure.
things that they require and don't require.
Yes, exactly. Got to look up what you can take there first before you just show up and be like, I want to shoot this one thing. And pays to do your research on anything when you're taking a trip. We also have Platte River State Park that has archery, rifle, and shotgun. And those are all outdoor. Oh, indoor pellet rifle, too, if you want to try that out. And then
That's over by...
it's between Lincoln and Omaha.
Will they
That's what I
do pistol on one of their ranges or no?
For special programs, yes, but you can't just bring one in.
Got it. So rifle. Got it. 22 caliber.
22 caliber rifle, yes. That's an important distinction. They're not set up for a centerfire rifle range.
Yep.
And they also do special programs where you can shoot muzzleloader.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome.
And then Ponca State Park has a range that you're going to want to look up their schedule in advance. They offer particular disciplines on particular days at certain times, but they have shotgun, pellet rifle, archery, all the good stuff.
Muzzleloader, I think, too.
They have muzzleloader, yep.
So yeah. Well, so those are just some of our great opportunities we have to find this. The easiest way I've done to locate this and to find a lot of these dates or these programs going on is on our Game and Parks page. We have a lovely search bar up there. If you type "Learn to Shoot," the first page that pops up will have a list of all these different activities we have going on or that are going on in the area, and sends you a little bit to where to find out more about them, how to connect with the club, as well as a link that takes you to that list of all the shooting ranges there. So you just search "Learn to Shoot" on the Nebraska Game and Parks webpage. That's a great source that I've been referring to here recently on what's all going on and keeping track of it. And if you're anything like me that likes to try to plan out ahead, you have all these different shoots, you get all these different dates, all these different programs. Choose the ones that you're wanting to do, mark down those dates, and then I work backwards. So I'm like, hey, I know I need a few months of practice before I go shoot at this event. Make sure I am finding the club to be there those few months there. And you can pretty much plan out your whole year. And then if you're like me, I'm going to block off my whole fall so that way I'm ready to go. I'm going to be busy out there my hunting season.
So when you look at your calendar, you just have a couple months of just completely blocked off.
Completely blocked off.
Yeah.
If
Just
only my
tear the pages out of the
if my
calendar
boss
at a
would
certain point.
let me do that, but
Can't do that on a digital one.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Control Alt Delete. But no, so that's just another way to check out all these different things we have going on. An important caveat I noticed on most of those events that we're talking about, especially for youth, one of the requirements is hunter education. So it'd be hard not to press as the hunter ed coordinator to emphasize a great way for looking even to get involved in any of this. Never done it before, and you're just now, hey, I want to learn a little bit more. And there's a podcast about it. Let's listen about it. Taking a hunter education class can be a requirement for a lot of these. And so you can find those at huntsafenebraska.org. Right now in this fall, we are getting a bunch of different classes posted. And so this is our busy season, especially before we get into October and November. So we have a lot of that going on.
Yep, definitely work on finding that class. And it's a relief to have that done well in advance versus trying to scramble at the last minute if it's a requirement for something you have coming up. Then you don't have to rush the rest of your preparation.
Yes. So A1 ages, it's required for anybody hunting 12 through 29. And so starting at age 11, you can start taking that course. So once you or your kid is turning 11, then pay attention to when those classes are, or sign up on our wait list to be notified when a class is.
Yep, for sure. And then I didn't want to neglect our other ranges and other organizations that are out there across the state, because Nebraska Game Parks is not the only one that has ranges across the state. There are a couple different ways that you could find a range or a club throughout the state. You have, if you're looking for archery in particular, the first thing I would look at is the Nebraska State Archery Association, which is a part of the National Field Archery Association, and they have clubs listed across the state so that you can connect with them if you need a place to shoot. So you might have to, there's some locations that'll be like you have to be a member in order to shoot there, but if there's nothing else in your vicinity, definitely check it out. See if you like the people there, if you feel comfortable, and try and get into that process. There's a lot of great instructors that are involved in those clubs. If you're looking for a gun range, Google's a good one to start with, but there's also, there's no comprehensive one at the moment that has, archery and firearm or anything else like that. There's a lot of like just different niches across the internet that have the particular listing that they have. If you're looking for a National Shooting Sports Foundation associated range, they have a map as well that you can pull up, and you can see what amenities those ranges have. And I don't know, just you're going to have to do a little investigation if you're trying to find a range in your location, then there's not a Game and Parks one in your area.
There you go.
Google does great. Coming out of state and moving to Nebraska this year, I Googled a lot because obviously I don't want to give up my shotgun shooting. It feels like another home. And so Google did great. And if you find one range that may be close, but you don't necessarily have a great, like there's a lack of communication or not a great experience, like just know there's other ranges out there that you can go try. I like the one that I found. I know having Rachel as a nice resource just a couple doors down to be like, hey, where are my options? But Google does a really good job of just being like, oh, I'm looking for a sporting clays course near me or a skeet field, and they will give you options. And obviously you have Google Maps that kind of point it all out too.
Yep. So if you don't have a Rachel for yourself, Google.
Also,
Google
the
helps.
NSSA, so National Skeet Shooting Association, and NSCA, if you're looking for shoots, there's actually a list that you download, and it gives every shoot possible, but you can filter through that by state. Cool. And just because you may be living in Nebraska and shooting in Nebraska, you can go shoot in other states. So, like, I could go shoot up at the South Dakota shoot if I wanted to. And they're happening all the time, and they're not going to be state shoots all the time. It could be just like, oh, hey, we're just putting this fun shoot together, but it's still registered targets for you. So be wary of like looking at that as well. And I usually, just so you know, we're talking about shooting, and it's like, oh, there's all these opportunities. It is expensive to get into shooting.
It can be, yeah.
Yeah. So like, for example, when I was getting ready for the state championship for skeet, I was shooting at least one case a week for at least 8 to 10 weeks.
Yeah.
And a case is about $100 a case. So, and that's just to prepare, because obviously when you go to a state shoot or a competition shoot, you want to do the best you possibly can. So you want to practice as much as possible.
You do. But again, it depends on your discipline, how cost intensive it can be. So if you're getting into air gun, there's certain sunk costs with your particular rifle that you bring in, but the ammo is super cheap. So that's a great beginner sport because, you're buying like 500 BBs for $10.
Yes.
You can shoot arrow and then archery.
I'm sitting over here with national archery in the
Even
schools,
cheaper.
and the school has the bows, so those kids just go with the school, and bows are there for them, those arrows are there for them, so
You don't have to rebuy the arrows each time you shoot them,
you
which
can
is
reuse
super
them.
nice.
Yeah, so there's
As
a
you
lot
heard,
of options.
archery, rifle, shotgun.
So like I said, lots of great opportunities, lots of different disciplines, a lot of different ways you can go, different times of the year. So there's a lot of opportunity, whether you're using it to be highly competitive or using it more like kind of like for me, where I use it more just to get ready for the upcoming seasons. Different levels for everybody there, and from every places I have been, everybody's been more than welcoming to have more people come there and shoot, be part of their group.
I think to add to that quick, just because someone's a competition shooter and like they shoot competitively does not mean that they're not a hunter.
Correct.
So like I'm a really big hunter. I hunt all the time, multiple states. I'm one of those people like go a little bit everywhere depending on what I want to chase. Upland or waterfowl are my biggest things. Turkeys, obviously, from the National Wild Turkey Federation, really fun. But shooting, especially shotgun based, like when you're shooting for, I'm going to point out skeet and sporting clays are going to be your best two. If you're trying to practice for waterfowl or upland hunting, like those are going to be your best two to prepare for the season. And the more you shoot, it's going to show up during season of how you're harvesting that bird like effectively, and you're probably going to be using less ammo.
There you go.
Which just
Makes it
money.
cheaper on the hunting
Yeah.
side.
I was
Yes.
like, it's cheaper on that way.
There you go.
And I'd say that same thing for archery. So you have a lot of different varieties of archery. If you want to practice for hunting, unmarked 3D competition is where that's at.
Yes.
Because you have to learn how to estimate distances and then make a good shot. So there's things out there for you if you're a hunter and you want to sharpen those skills. But I came into it completely the other way. I was competition first, and then I picked up hunting.
So no path is the same. Everybody has a little bit different path down the road. So
Yep.
But the path is for everyone.
It is.
There you go.
yeah, nice. We're going to wrap it up on that. That was a good one to wrap it up on. So, all right. Make sure you have liked, subscribe, and pay attention to all our upcomings with our videos for the podcast or listening to us on wherever you download podcasts at. Make sure you're following us on Facebook, and then drop down here below in the comments. We want to hear from you what competition you are most excited for this upcoming year. If you're looking forward to NAS, you can go in broad, or you can actually list the specific competition. So you just if it's I want to be archery or shotgun or something more specific, like I really
the
want to
rifle
compete at the
crew.
Corn State game. So very good. Well, hopefully you guys will enjoy it, and remember, we'll see you outdoors.
Hunt Nebraska, brought to you by your Nebraska Game and Parks Commission.